Hey, what's going on, my dudes and dudettes? Welcome to yet another video. This one will be about PvE build for Dungeon Lazarus Expedition. Just uploaded a speedrun that you can check out right over there. We did it the most efficient way, meaning we looted the chest as well. That's where you can save time as well. We didn't skip that many packs. You can skip more packs in order to be even more efficient, but you can check it out if you want to. Now, I'm going to talk about the group setup that we used, but first, let's get to this build. So I'm running a 200 strength, 250 dexterity, 50 con, running spear, which is with Cyclone. Cyclone, for some reason, acts as a strike weapon damage, not thrust like the spear itself. But with the cooldown reduction, I'm gonna show you in a bit, this is by far the best DPS weapon in Lazarus. Void Gauntlet on top of that, using that weapon only strictly for Oblivion, the damage increase for Root, to group up the mobs to AoE them down, and the Orb to stack up more rend. Now, 50 Constitution only for this perk to Consumables last longer, 20%, stronger. Then we have 250 Dex and Strength, two very essential perks from these. The first one is 10 more percent damage on stunned, slowed, rooted enemies. Stunned, we have Warhammer user in the group. Slowed and then rooted enemies, then slow is from the Warhammer spell tree. And rooted enemies, that is Void Gauntlet, the Scream. You have a healer that runs Void Gauntlet for this as well. Me with another Void Gauntlet. If you have a third person with Void Gauntlet, that would be ideal. You can non-stop rotate the Oblivion and the Root, but even double Void Gauntlet in the group is more than fine. Then we have 250 Dex perk, where you do more critical hit damage, again on stunned, slowed, and rooted enemies. So this goes hand in hand perfectly. And these two attributes, Strength and Dex, is because Spear scales from both. Meaning Dex is the main attribute, that's why you get 250, and Strength is secondary, you get 200 of that. Now I'm running Skeever, Perforate, and Cyclone. So rotation, how it should look like, you always start with Perforate, because it stacks up rend. You see 5% for 10 seconds, it stacks up 3 times, but with this passive as well, if the target is above 50%, then it's actually 30% rend. So you want to use this first before the group actually AoEs down the pack of the mobs. And then you follow with Skeever, it applies a bleed. Now you have more crit chance on target with bleed active on them. If you can group up mobs, you can hit all mobs with bleed. And then you gain Empower 20% for 10 seconds. Right after that, you want to use Cyclone. Like I said, Cyclone acts as strike damage. Ancient mobs in Lazarus are very weak to strike damage. So you want to use this. And before each spell, you want to roll dodge. I'm going to show you why is that important. It's because of this passive right here. On the first successful hit with an ability, within 2 seconds of dodging, raises all spear cooldowns by 20%. Now, take a look, it says first successful hit, meaning if there's more mobs, you hit them all, that accounts for each hit. So that is, if you hit 3 times, that's 60% cooldown reduction. So that's why grouping up mobs and rooting them, stacking them, you can hit everything. I mean, every mob. You can get the most out of this passive as well, and you can pretty much spam Cyclone, which is insane amount of damage, the highest you can get, because again, it's strike damage. Now going over to Void Gauntlet, I have a different setup. Don't really take a look too much at all these. This is because the reason why I have 4 spells is because 4 skills is because I run this in PvP sometimes. I use Rapture on melee targets, melee builds. As the Orb I use on ranged and overall. But for this dungeon, for this build, we want to run the Scream, which is the Root. We're running Oblivion, the damage increase, and weaken the mobs as well. And then we're using the Orb, which tanks rend as well. And that's pretty much what we use the Void Gauntlet for. Now, I have no intelligence at all in Void Gauntlet, but I do have Ancient Bane. That's what you want to have on your weapon. I sadly don't have it on Spear, but my Void Gauntlet hits for even between 500 to 700 on mobs as well, with no intelligence, only 5, as you can see down there. But still, that's pretty good. Now this is my spear. Again, sadly, it has no ancient. If it had ancient bane, then it would be through the roof, let me tell you. Kindle Empowered, probably the best you can get for PvE, for dungeons. The helmet, well, basically all the gear, you don't really need any perks at all for dungeon. Uh, you pretty much want to have legendaries to have the maximum amount of attributes, to have the maximum amount of damage. So I'm just stacking dex, strength, strength, and strength again. I don't have legendary boots that give main stat, only main stat. I do have these with luck as well on top of that. These boots, by the way, don't have pure attribute. Now the jewelry, amulet, typical. I showed it in my build as well, PvP build. But again, you don't really need that those perks. Like you, at least you would want to have refreshing evasion or refreshing on every piece on your gear. I sadly don't have that on armor, but I do have it on every single piece here. You do wanna have crit chance on your ring as well, very important. And then E-rank, again refreshing. I got refreshing ward. That one is useless in PvE kind of, unless you're a tank. So refreshing evasion or refreshing would be better. Now, talk about luck. I do have full luck gear, but I'm not using it because when I was running in luck gear, I didn't really get that many drops. When I switched from luck gear, I got 4 legendaries in one day. Speaking of that, just today, man, I was running with this build, with this armor in 4. Actually, not 4. It was like 6 or 7 dungeons today. I got 4 legendaries again with this amount of luck. Now I have luck only on my bags, right? 2.6%. I have the worst luck trophies as well in all my 3 houses. And then, you know, these boots with luck and pretty much void bent. That's it. So I'm thinking there's threshold for luck. Or, I mean, who knows? Luck is so much more RNG that it's so hard to test. So that was gear done. Now the consumables, I'm using strength dex because this one is super cheap, or used to be at least on our server. The regular HP potion, region potion. Now for this is blight. This one is for Genesis only. When it comes to Lazarus, you do want to use coding, ancient coding, tier 5 infused. Gives you increased damage to ancients by 15%, as you can see here. Now, if you stack it up with Honing Stone, I sadly have only tier 3, but tier 5 increases the weapon damage by 7%, I believe, so that's 22% damage right here to the mobs in Lazarus. So we got the gear, consumables, we got the weapon masteries. Now the rotation, like I said, you're gonna start with Oblivion. You're gonna drop Orb of Decay, detonate it into Root. You're gonna swap to Fear, Roll Dodge, Perforate, right? Get Rend on it, get the Empower, and then Cyclone. Now if you have more targets again, you're getting pretty insane cooldown reduction. So you can pretty much almost spam that if you have more people. Oh, sorry, more mobs stacked. When it comes to weapon as well, keep in mind ancient mobs in Lazarus, they are very weak to strike, like I said, but also lightning. So you do want to have Topaz. Got pristine Topaz in your weapon. That way you will do the maximum amount of damage you can do, pretty much. If I missed anything, gems in armor, you could go with full physical because the mobs are mostly physical. This is all over the place because I use many of these pieces for PvP as well. I just stick with my PvP gems. And one thing to note, to mention as well, I should be running light armor for that increased damage, but I'm not. I'm pretty sure in mutations that will be in upcoming month, or even in this one in January, you might even need some more armor or survivability depending on the difficulty and the affixes of the mobs and bosses, whatever. So maybe we will need medium, more uneven as well, but you should be ideally running a light armor for the maximum damage. And if I missed anything, boys, let me know down below in the description. I will put all the links as well, Discord, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram in description. Like always, if you guys wanna have a specific badge next to your name or use my emotes on YouTube, you can become a member supporting me. That's gonna be also in description. And next video will be Genesis speedrun. We did it below 14 minutes, I believe, or even 15 minutes, not sure now. But that's gonna be a next video. After that, I'm gonna release a build video on the build I used for Genesis as well. So so we can all be ready for mutations when they hit, and we can go really hard after that. So thank you everybody for watching. You guys have a good one, and welcome to 2022. Bye bye.